That's about as much of a boxing situation as you should really ever have. Right? Like we're both kind of just jumping in front of each other. We're not really like throwing out forward tilts and spot dodging and rolling around each other. That shouldn't really happen. Like a situation like that, for example, yeah, just clear out, do something like where you can just jump away from me and set up something else. If you miss that down air, they can just try to escape. If you throw it like a back air and you miss, you can try to escape. And when I say escape, I don't mean run across the stage. I mean dash away instead of like spot dodge or throw out like a jab or a forward tilt or something like that.
Yeah, I think another lesson learned I had with the tourney too was I was watching you commentate the grands too, and you were saying how patient they were in terms of like there's no need for them to approach kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think also it's like I kind of know that, but also I think I'm trying to scrap a little bit too much when I could just get away from the situation. Like I don't have to fight in every interaction, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you should definitely pick and choose your battles a lot. If you're ever in a spot where it's like, let's say if I'm up here, come down here for a second, like right here.
Yep.
So if I'm up here, I have lots of different options as far as how I want to get down. I can try and run off this way and go for a back air. I can run off this way and go and get potentially ledge trapped. I can try and jump to get away from you, or I can come down and try and, like, let's say, shield, or come down and try and hit you, right? But if you're right underneath me, let's say have a sword or an invincible move, or something that, let's say, out of shield that's super strong, I don't have to try and hit you to get down here. Even if I am, let's say if I'm losing and I have to try and make a comeback, this is not the spot to try and make a comeback, right? It's actually better to be here to try and make a comeback, because although I'm at the state off, potentially I could get sent off stage, I'm at least level with you where I could actually use moves that are not super obvious to hit you. Because if I'm here, it's either drag down there, run off back air, or falling like down air straight through. Right? You'd be very hard pressed to see someone come down and go like that. Like it does happen, but I couldn't tell you the last time I've seen someone fall through a platform and go for a grab. Especially if the person underneath is not doing anything. If they're in the middle of something and you completely miss, like let's say you went for an up smash and the beam goes like right here and you just are facing backwards, I can come down and go for a grab, sure. But if you're just like dashing back and forth, if I come down and go for a grab and I miss, now you just dash out of the way and you smash me, or dash attack, or do whatever you want. Right? So yeah, going to the idea of picking and choosing my battles, I'd rather just try and get down, or if I can like go over here and jump like this, and let's say you go for a grab and you miss like that, then I'll come down like this, right? And then I'll try and do something else. But trying to just, I guess, use movement positioning or manipulation of positioning just to try and get you to go to a different spot that's safer for me, even if I can't capitalize on it as far as getting percent. I guess the other side of the return would be not taking percent for a smart decision, right? Or doing a smart decision and not getting punished, right? So yeah, because you're right below me doesn't mean I have to come down with a down air every single time. Sometimes the good option is to go to the platform, come down over here, and then fight from the side. I had stage control. Yeah, good catch. Good catch.
I tell you anything, but it's always weird to play Dittos.
What's up?
Not that this relates to anything in particular. I just think it's always weird to play Dittos.
Yeah, I feel like when we play Dittos, at least for me, it sometimes helps. As far as saying, okay, why are things working for me and things not working for you? I can't really, there's no real Johns as to say, oh, like my character has more range or more speed or is heavier or has a command grab or some horse shit, right? So
I actually love opportunities to play Dittos because oftentimes they'll do something I wouldn't think of.
Good.
Actually, what I was talking about was I noticed, I think your movement was like so much better than mine. And I wanted some training, labbing inspiration in terms of what movement to work on. I just felt like you were just moving so much better than me.
I could say playing a character that's slow makes your movement better. Reason being is because if you're slow and your movement is bad, like you just get destroyed. And if you're playing a super fast character, your movement can be kind of sloppy. You can also punish from much further away, so your reaction time can be worse. I can say
I noticed the way you were like manipulating your jump and your drifting was just like something I probably don't do as well as I should be. Yeah, you're like you did a lot of like weaving around this area, and I just noticed that that's something I don't do as well.
that's one of those things. Like when you say that her air drift isn't that great, it's like it actually is pretty good. You know, like her ability to go back and forth is actually pretty legit.
Her acceleration is one of the fastest, but I think her actual speed is slow or something like that. I
Yeah,
don't know how it works.
I think the ability to switch direction in the air is more important because a character like Wolf or Roy, they really can't. When they move forward, they're zooming, but they can't like jump forward and jump back very well. They can't really do that,
Yeah.
right? And that's the thing too is if you give someone like that a little bit of a shake, that is enough for someone who's if you're really locked in and trying to react to everything. If I go like this and then like lead or drift back, that can be enough for you to like throw something out right here and completely miss. Or if I'm like coming down like this and I'm drifting back and forth like that, making like that S shape at the very last second, if I just drift to the right and you go like this and completely miss, I get down for free.
Mhm.
I would say the way I think of it, this is like a football thing, and in football it's called stemming. I don't know if we've ever talked about this before, but what stemming is basically, let's say if we were playing football right now, if we were to be, let's say if you were the defensive back and I was a wide receiver, the easiest way to try and create separation from a defender is to push right up on them first and then break off of wherever they're standing, right? So let's say if stand right here for a second.
Mhm. The
So
middle?
yeah, so if you're right there, let's say I want to try and get some space from you to get down. If I'm right above you, right? Let's say I'm right here. It's much easier, let's say, to try and make you make a mistake if I come straight down to here and then go like that and then jump back, right? Do something like that so that if you try and go for a grab right here, you're gonna go for this and then you're gonna probably miss, right? Because I'm coming right down in front of you and then breaking off of where you're standing, right? So instead of trying to
Yeah.
go let's say instead of trying to go like this and do like a big arcing jump over to here, it's very obvious that I'm going to just go straight in one direction, in which case you can just run across the ground and I'm trapped on the other side of the stage, right? But if I'm trying to get down, actually better yet, rather than having you stand here, have you standing right here eventually. There you go. So if instead of just like, let's say, jumping over here and just doing that, it's kind of obvious if I just drift in one direction. But if I were to, let's say, go like this, then jump back, then air dodge over here, and then if you go like this and try and grab me, or go for like a fair or like a dash attack or something over here because you thought I was going to land here, now I have space because I just use my aerial drift and I'm mixing you up, right? I have so many options as far as I have my double jump, right, or my single jump, or my first jump. Then I have my double jump. Then I have my air dodge. Some cases, characters have multiple jumps where they have the ability to wave bounce or be reverse as well. But the biggest thing I think that's just kind of overlooked is that aerial drift. No one really thinks of that as a move, right? Honestly, just using that little S curve. Void put out a video about this a long time ago, talking about how people do this to get down. It's like, yeah, top level play or high level play, the move of literally using your control stick, it's still an input, right? Like, how come
Yeah.
if you think about it, this just like that looks very different than that, right? If I'm jumping towards you, drifting back just for the slightest little bit, and then landing in the same spot, basically. If you think about it
Yeah.
too, that little bit of a drift can be enough to get someone to lean in the wrong direction completely. If you look at how your air dodge works too, if you want to air dodge to the right, you'll bounce to the left first, very, very slightly, right? And if someone's really like trying to be on top of reacting to everything, that little air dodge to the right can get people to dash left first. It happens all the time. I fall for it all the time because I'm playing almost too cracked, if that makes sense. Like as soon as I see the slightest little bit of motion in the one direction, I just dash that way. And then
Have you noticed that little like shift to the opposite direction quickly before you do the air dodge? Never noticed that.
and yeah, that's something that happens with your air dodge up too. If you ever notice, you go down first, right? If you do an air dodge like this, right? If you air dodge up, you go down first. Same thing with going down. That's why you can do something like this, right? If I air dodge down, I go up first. That's why I can get back up onto the platform, right? Not that you should ever actually do that, but you can.
It's the new way.
Yeah, like you can do all kinds of stuff like that with your air dodge, just based on how.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even if I do something like this, I'm running off the stage and I'm air dodging to the right, right? But I get thrown off the stage first, and then I make it back on just because of how the little bounce happens. So you can exploit all these little, I guess, niche movement options to make your movement even better. So it's like very hard to hit somebody. It's like they're not doing anything that's like magical, but they're squeezing out every little bit of animation that they possibly can. Right?
Yeah.
I would say
It's funny because I was complaining about how I thought she was kind of slow, and I was watching when we played. I was like, oh, that's not bad.
yeah, man, it's a tiny little bit of movement that can catch somebody.
Yeah.
And like going back to the whole idea of like getting those small punishes. If you see someone who's at a higher level jumping in and going like this, they're not doing this because like they're trying to hit you. They're trying to get you to put yourself in a situation where you think that you can hit them. Right? I'm going like this so that if you think I'm going to land on your shield, you just go for a grab. Right? People go like this all the time. Or you see like the double jump right in front of somebody. So I'll go like this right in front of you. And if you're in shield, just try and go for a grab. And if you miss, I come down and I hit you with something. Right?
Yeah.
Also keep in mind I'm fast falling too. Right? Fast falling in between hits, using the aerial drift, sometimes using the air dodge. You don't see it very often, but sometimes players will like wave land or try and wave dash, even though it doesn't really work in this game. Like they go like this. But that shit, it does do something, right? If I run up to somebody and go like this, they try and grab me, I can just F smash them, right? It's just a small little bit like of an animation manipulation that can throw somebody off. And I'm not saying that you should like be wave landing like it's actually melee. Like you shouldn't be doing it all over the place, like everywhere you go, because it's just that's not how the game is. And it makes you very slow if you do that. But if you use it as like a bait, right? Doing that is kind of like doing this, right? It's actually a faster version of doing this. It's just getting creative with your movement, right? Just because there's only so many movement options doesn't mean that you can't string them together in interesting ways.